What's up, everybody? What is going on? This is Fred Ricciani of TSC News. I have right here on the line Scott Anderson, and we are here to recap WWE Roadblock, the WWE Network special, March 12th, 2016, headlined by Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This match went about 14-15 minutes. Great match. Some may say this could be better than Roman Reigns versus Triple H. In the ring, I'd probably agree with you, although the atmosphere of thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of fans chanting a bunch of random things in the main event of WrestleMania sounds quite appealing. But at the end, as expected, Triple H got the win under questionable circumstances. And, well, our main event is still Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And while it was a great match, I may get some flack for this. The finish kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Because what happened was Dean Ambrose went to do a diving elbow on Triple H onto the announcer's table. Triple H moved. Dean went through the table. He was almost counted out, but desperately ran back into the ring. Got pedigreed. 1, 2, 3. And Triple H pinned Dean Ambrose clean. Now, look, it was a very clever finish. I've never seen a finish to the pedigree like that before. In that sense, I give him props. But there's no low blow. There's no sledgehammer. There's no Stephanie McMahon. There's no League of Nations. There's no, exposed turnbuckle. There's no belt shot. Nothing that protected Dean Ambrose. Essentially, he just lost like an idiot. Fell through the table, ran in the ring like Wile E. Coyote, got pedigreed. Now, it's not as stupid as the time he lost to Bray Wyatt when the monitor exploded in his head. But still. Once again, Dean Ambrose in a big match loses. And that's not one, not two, but 3 straight times, Scott, that they've had an opportunity to take Dean Ambrose to the next level. Royal Rumble, screwed it up. Fastlane, screwed it up. Tonight. Now, they didn't necessarily have to have Dean win the title tonight, but they could have done something to protect him or set up a match down the road. And instead, they screwed it up. Hell, you can make the argument of going back a couple years when he wrestled Seth Rollins in the main event of Hell in a Cell. Great feud. Ready to be finished once and for all. And then he loses due to dark magic, black magic from Bray Wyatt. So you can make the argument like 4 times. They've already screwed up Ambrose. And now he's got a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania that he's probably going to lose. And after he's lost not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 straight major pay-per-view matches, they're going to be scratching their heads going, well, why don't people believe in Dean Ambrose anymore? Well, writing's on the wall. Scott, what'd you think?
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to start at the beginning because you did miss something, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Well, no, I know what you're gonna talk about, but still, he still got pinned clean.
Yeah, he did, but well, first of all, I tweeted out as well that was a WrestleMania quality main event, which it was.
Yeah, you can make the argument. It was a great match. I think if it was on WrestleMania with that big crowd, I think it would have done just fine.
Oh yeah. Second, you said questionable circumstances, but yet Triple H did beat him clean, so nothing real. Too questionable.
Well, questionable as in it's questionable that a 46-year-old part-time heel that's already had his heyday pinned the white-hot babyface without cheating and trying to protect him.
But then you answered your own question when you said Dean went through a table and had to rush back into the ring. So you kind of said no shenanigans, but there was because of the table injury. Even though Dean did botch the pedigree. Did he botch
the pedigree?
Yeah, he fell. He did the Shawn Michaels when Shawn took it the one time and he kind of fell too soon.
Oh, yeah.
And third, and this is what I was going to mention, keep in mind, Dean technically did pin Triple H in the match.
He did. He
Dean
did.
had his foot under the rope, I suppose.
Yeah, they did.
Cut his pinky nail or something.
That crazy false finish, that was insane. He pinned Triple H with the dirty deeds, clean, but apparently, you know what it is? The camera angle was horrible.
Well, you know what it was? Did you notice how Triple H had to be kind of in that position as well to kind of get Dean to the ropes?
Yeah, he
wasn't laying flat on his back.
Right. It was just horrible. Like it wasn't horrible. I mean, it was a clever finish. It was just the camera angle itself was horrible.
Which is, I think, the idea. I thought it was a botched finish.
Yeah, I thought it was too at first.
Wasn't supposed to win, and they didn't know what to do.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was a quick explanation. I mean, I just did they show another angle or replay of Dean's foot underneath the rope? Because that was just yeah. I mean, look, if that was a planned false finish, very, very clever, very, very clever. But I just wish they had like a better positioning. You know, it's almost like the one with what's his name, AJ Styles and Jericho, because a few weeks ago on their SmackDown match, that was actually supposed to be the finish. I think AJ like hit like some move, or I think it was Jericho hit like the code breaker or something, and the finish was originally supposed to be like a pin, but the feet underneath the ropes, so that way like one of them's protected, and they messed that up, so then they just did like the finish where Jericho just pinned him with the code breaker.
But then also, real quickly, you said Dean's going to lose to Brock at Mania, which I agree with, but it's going to be that Stone Cold finish where it's going to get Dean super over, even though Dean's already been screwed, missed the opportunity. I can see that happening. Dean he'll lose the match, but he'll still come out ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I think he'll look good. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll look good. But I don't have a lot of faith.
So is there a chance that Dean somehow does pin the Beast? I mean,
well, here's a finish I suggested. All right, and it's similar to like the Holly Holm Misha Tate finish, where they have Dean getting beat up, and granted, Misha Tate didn't get that beat up by Holly Holm. She was losing on the scorecards. But you have Dean maybe not hit him with a rear naked choke, but lock in like a guillotine, and have Brock go crazy and try to like smash his way out of the guillotine or the rear naked choke, the sleeper, and in the process he kind of knocks himself out. So Dean wins after Brock, passes out, but Brock never gave up, and you could kind of protect him and lead to a match down the road.
Is it? I mean, look, I know it's WWE, but is it believable that Brock couldn't break out of a Dean Ambrose submission hold?
I don't know if you're using a ton of weapons and stuff, and I mean it's believable.
I mean, Brock would have to go through a couple tables.
That's it would be. It's believable enough that Brock would.
John Cena would have to come out and hit him with the chain.
No, listen. It's believable if Brock Lesnar was a brute. That Brock Lesnar's a brute, and Dean has a guillotine locked in, and Brock goes up top and tries to slam Dean, but instead in the process he quote-unquote hits his head, and Dean still has the guillotine locked in, and Brock knocks himself out, and Dean wins.
That would be a hell of a finish, but yeah.
Now, are they clever enough to do that? No, but I think it would be a hell of a finish, and I don't think I've seen a finish like that before. I think it'd be awesome. I think I saw it once in like one UFC fight or two, but that would be clever. It'd be a clever finish. It would get Dean over. It would protect Brock, and you could set up a match with him down the road.
It'd be interesting.
But I don't think they're going to do that. I think Brock's just going to beat him.
Not to talk about Mania, but that'll steal the show, no doubt about. In my opinion,
that could or the whatever multi-man IC title match. Yeah,
whatever he's involved in.
Yeah, it'll be Sami Zayn, probably Kevin Owens, a few of the other guys.
I did hear that possibly just a triple threat with the Miz, which would be really weird.
No, I don't think they're just gonna do a triple threat with Miz. No.
I'm sure other people will go into it, but
it's honestly it's probably gonna be. I think it's probably gonna be like Miz, Neville, Zayn.
They should keep it as NXT guys on the main roster.
They should, but they're not. They'll probably sprinkle in like Ziggler or something.
Oh yeah, of course.
The Mania match that doesn't worry me but bewilders me is. Well, I guess it's kind of similar. Kind of similar worries me. Is Ryback versus Kalisto, which is what looks like they're setting up for the U.S. title. I mean, I'm all for like the big guy being U.S. champion and everything, and getting a nice little run. Sense. It also doesn't make sense that you give the belt to Kalisto, you job Del Rio, who they spent a ton of money on.
And now you job Kalisto.
Yeah, isn't the point of Kalisto holding the belt to bring in Hispanic fans?
Honestly, unify the belts and just have one title. Yeah, because that's all you need.
Well, one secondary title, yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what they'll do. That would be actually kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Kalisto, Zayn, Neville, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple weeks to talk about Mania, but let's talk about Roadblock.
Yeah, let's talk about Roadblock.
What did you think about the show? Personally, I thought it wasn't a great show, but I thought it was a really fun show. A fun show with a great main event. And you know what? You might be able to say it was a great show because it had two awesome matches. Not only did we have the main event, but we had the Revival, Dawson and Wilder, against Enzo and Cass. Awesome match. But that has to be the best match Enzo and Cass have ever been in, right? Has to be.
Yeah, I would. I mean, the match they had at London was pretty good as well.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's true.
This was, I mean, and I, it was, and let's hope that some of the upper brass in WWE paid attention tonight, because Enzo and Cass are way over. Even with the main roster crowd, they're way over. It works, but you had mentioned, you had put out a tweet about the most popular tag team not getting, the belts. I hope, and I can see it happening, is when they get called up to the main roster that they're going to break up and Cass will be the heel big guy who Vince loves, the big muscle guys, and Enzo's just going to be Enzo. Unfortunately, you can kind of see it happening.
I mean, Enzo would be pretty freaking awesome as just like kind of like a manager or personality type. But I think he's one of those few guys that could survive that. Almost like, I don't want to say like an Italian Santino, but he's got enough talent on the mic and enough charisma where he could have a job, not a job for life, but for a long time.
Yeah, but they should keep him. I mean, you got to keep these guys as teams.
My headphones, so I can't hear what Scott is saying. But I was so excited talking about Enzo versus Cass. Scott, you there?
I am here.
All right, yeah. I was so excited I unplugged my headphones. Anyway, botch. But yeah, great match.
You effed up anyway.
Yeah, I did. But Enzo and Cass and the Revival didn't F up. They had a great match. Revival got the win. And that's such a stupid team name, by the way. It's like the worst team name since High Voltage.
Well, I guess it's the Revival of the tag team division, right?
It's just dumb. The Revival.
It sounds like actually what the New Day should be called.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does.
Or it seems like the anti-heroes that should go up against the New Day. You're the New Day, we're the Revival,
Well, it's funny that we mentioned that because there was WWE put out, the New Day, who were successful as well in their tag team match. They were walking backstage and they did catch a glimpse of Dash and Dawson. So, possible just a little teaser right there, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, but we had an awesome NXT tag title match. Dash and Dawson got the pin, got the win. We'll see if Enzo and Cass get on the main roster. They've been doing a lot of house shows as of late. I think they worked the dark match at the SmackDown tapings a couple weeks ago. But they are scheduled for NXT shows after WrestleMania, as is Balor, as is Bayley, which is quite unfortunate. But, well, not unfortunate if you're an NXT fan, but unfortunate for those wrestlers. And if you like to see them, make more money and do better, since, that's why they're in NXT in the first place, to move up. But who knows? Maybe they'll come to their senses, WWE that is, and say, you know what? Since NXT is drawing in some places better than we are, the main roster, maybe we should actually give a cut of that show money to the wrestlers. What a novel concept, right? Wow. Yeah. What a novel concept.
It's funny because Shane McMahon continues to promote how Vince is out of touch, and you kind of wonder who's writing that promo for him, don't you? Mm-hmm. But, yeah. It'd be nice, but we'll see.
Yeah, but it was an awesome match. 2 awesome matches. Go out of your way to watch the NXT title match and go out of your way to watch the world title match. Even though I have my complaints about it, the finish and everything and the booking of Dean Ambrose. Great match.
I tell you, I told you earlier, I think this was better than most of their normal pay-per-views. And, you said back to me it's an easy watch show, which it was, but that's what worked. It was kind of cool to see. It was a special event. I mean,
they actually had a different set.
There were some guys, different set, which was really cool to see.
It's a house show
guys
set,
who actually got to perform, which we'll get into. Mm-hmm. Who you don't see on, you see on TV for like 3 minutes, who actually had some time tonight. It wasn't bad. I like it. WWE did a good job with it, in my opinion. I give it a thumbs up. Going ahead of ourselves on the show, I'll give it a thumbs up right now.
Yeah, no, definitely a thumbs up show. I really, really enjoyed it. There were some slow spots in the show, though. But, at the end of the day, it was kind of a house show, a glorified house show in some ways.
And that's my only complaint about it, that you're hyping this type of show, but yet it's just a house. There's nothing special.
Well, there was something special. There were 3 title matches and 2 great matches.
But again, not to spoil what we're going to talk about, but nothing changed hands. Change something at least just short term, just to at least make it different,
Yeah, well, I think Enzo and Cass should probably won the tag titles. Even if they do get called up, I think it would have been smart just to put them on. They could always lose them back, in a few weeks or one. I mean, well, hang on. The American Alpha match, is that just a match with Dash and Dawson? Or is
just a tag match at NXT Dallas, yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying, is it just a
one-on-one, like one team on one team?
Okay. I thought it was like
as far as I know, it is, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways.
I kind of wonder real quick, with that as well, with Sami Zayn now on the main roster full time, if he'll still go up against
Nakamura. Oh no, he'll still go up against Nakamura. But you know what? That is a tall task, though. If you really think about it. I mean, going up against Nakamura and then the next night having to wrestle in, like, say, a ladder match or something crazy like that.
And that's not smart for him coming off that shoulder injury.
Yeah, well, that's not smart on their part to book him back-to-back nights like that.
That's what I mean.
Well,
we'll see what happens.
Hey, it's the weekend of his life. He's going to do the best he can.
maybe you have Nakamura debut in the ladder match. Because remember that Nakamura spot has not happened on TV yet, so they could just wave it off like it was nothing. And
They already promoted it. He'll be on NXT Dallas. I don't think he'll be on the main roster yet. I think it's going to take him a couple months, and maybe they want to get him acclimated.
To get adjusted, yeah.
Yeah. As long as they don't keep him there for like 6 months, that'd be stupid.
All right. Well, yeah, we saw what happened with Hideo Itami. So
And
moving on.
Yeah. So we had the opening match, which was the tag team match, The New Day against King Barrett and Sheamus. Rusev and Alberto Del Rio were nowhere to be found. I think they were doing the house show in Atlantic City, which is near my neck of the woods. Not too sure.
You're on neck of the
Well, yeah, about an hour and a half, but whatever. I've been in Atlantic, been in Atlantic City quite a few times. Started my career there early on, covering a lot of fights, and good match. They had a hilarious promo at the beginning, making fun of the League of Nations, and they said that the League of Nations is stupid, and Sheamus looks stupid, and if you don't want to look stupid like Sheamus, you got to eat your Bootios, and they unveiled a Bootios cereal box,
which is now available on WWE Shop for purchase.
Is it really, or is it just like an accessory? With
Jeremy tweeted it out, and I checked it. Yeah, it's Bootios. I don't know if it's the actual cereal, but it's the Bootios box with like a commemorative T-shirt. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I kind of wonder if they're kind of similar to Urkelos, to date myself there. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bootios, pretty Bootios. Incredible.
I forget what the slogan is, but I know it ends with "So you ain't booty," and that's kind of.
It's pretty clever. I gotta say it's pretty
They're great.
Clever.
They really are.
But it was a good match. The New Day won via some tomfoolery. So they are baby faces now, but they're still
pretty
heelish.
Much, yeah. Although Kofi took a nasty bump in the match.
Yeah,
he seems to be okay.
Yeah, luckily he's okay. I'm like, oh no, New Day, no, not before WrestleMania. That's the only thing that terrified me about this night. I was like, please don't let anybody get injured before WrestleMania.
I thought Triple H was going to get hurt a couple times.
I'll say this. Even though I completely disagree with the finish, and I think it's borderline narcissistic to have done what he did with Reigns and done what he did with Ambrose tonight, as far as not really pinning him when he's cheating or anything. I got to say, Triple H worked his ass off tonight.
Oh, yeah.
He really did put it in. It wasn't like he didn't put in any effort. I just disagree with the booking. And for those that say, well, he technically pinned Triple H, well, a long time ago, CM Punk technically beat Triple H via false finish and kicked out of the pedigree. Yeah, and kicked out of the pedigree, and then that didn't really do much for him. And yeah.
Anyway, so we had after that was the NXT tag title match.
Yeah, which was awesome, and Enzo and Cass were super over. We had Charlotte versus Natty for the Divas Championship. Really good Divas match. Really, really good Divas match. One of the better main roster Divas matches in a very long time.
Yep.
And it was good, and Charlotte got the win, as was expected. I didn't think they would call an audible or anything. But I would just love to see Natty in the mix. I feel like she's such a great worker, and she doesn't get enough love, I think. I mean, she's got the total Divas exposure, so she's doing okay for herself, but it would be so nice. I mean, really, if you added her in that match with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, I don't think she'd take anything away. In fact, I think she'd add to the match.
She would. Well, you have a Canadian who's well over in the Hart family, and with that type of crowd, it would be nuts.
It'd be awesome, but
with that said, you should also probably add Paige, and who knows who she ticked off backstage.
I don't think she ticked anybody off. I think they just have so many different storylines going on, and I think what's going to happen is they're probably going to do the multi-diva match. What annoys me is that Lana can't wrestle. She apparently has had a lot of heat in the past, and maybe still does, and she's going to get maybe she's not, but as right now it looks like she's going to get a one-on-one match with Brie Bella. And look, I think it's probably going to be one of those dreaded Lumberjill matches that are going to be like 2 minutes long and god-awful. But the fact that Lana is getting a match at WrestleMania and not Paige or like Summer Rae or any of those other girls that work really hard who can actually, wrestle kind of a bit. I mean, Summer Rae's not as good as Paige, but, she works really hard and is good with fans. And, yeah, I'm not feeling that. And what's scaring me as well, they do have focus on the Divas division, or at least with the Divas title picture. I mean, look at the recent matches that Brie Bella's been in. 2-minute matches, 3-minute matches. I'm not going to say that they're going to minimize the importance of the Divas Championship after WrestleMania, but if they're already starting to do 2-3-minute matches again, who's to say they're not going to build up contenders doing that, And okay, they could put the Divas in a title match for 15 minutes, but say if they give Natty only 2 minutes every week on Raw, How's that really building up a challenger that's going to make people care about him?
Well, unfortunately, this match has got 2 words, which is death spot, because it's going to go on after the Brock Dean match and before, before Undertaker and Shane.
Well, that match would die anyway. That match would die if you put it in the freaking opener, that Brie Bella.
But it's going to go in between one of those 3 matches, and that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that match, I hate to say it because I feel bad for Brie Bella, because that very well could be her last match, is a glorified bathroom break.
It is.
And I hate to say that.
It is, but you know what? At least she'll get a WrestleMania payday, and she'll get to perform in front of a big crowd, and then she could go have fun and make babies.
The only way it does work, is if you have Daniel Bryan come out with Brie, which could happen.
No, that would not work. It would be, you know what? The only thing that would be great about that match if he came out, the only thing that would be great would be watching Daniel Bryan with a look of disgust as he sees how far his career has sunk to be a side piece in a lumberjill match. So please don't encourage them.
Okay.
We had Chris Jericho versus Jack Swagger. Before the match, Chris Jericho cut a heel promo on Canada and said he's glad he moved out of Canada because it stinks. I love Chris Jericho. I really like heel Chris Jericho. But this was like a 1995 like WWF cartoony heel promo. It was the cheapest of cheap heat. Canada stinks. You got Toronto is the anus. Like you guys always like cheer different people and you guys just are bandwagon hoppers. Like when you cheered Jack Swagger when you beat me for the world title 6 years ago, which I think maybe 5 people remember, including maybe Jack Swagger's immediate family. And I was waiting for him to call us parasites. I was waiting for him to go into 2008 Jericho mode when he had those great promos. I was waiting for him to cut a similar promo to Thursday Night on SmackDown, which was really good. And instead it was just autopilot Jericho. Let's just go with some cheap heat, and then let's have Jack Swagger come out and be the babyface. Jack Swagger, the real American, the babyface against the Canadian hero, Chris Jericho.
That is typical WWE booking. We have a Canadian come out, talk trash about Canada, and send out an American patriot who Canadian fans don't like these American-type wrestlers anyway. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It was dumb, and Chris Jericho won via submission, so that was
a decent match, though.
It was a decent match, but it's Jack Swagger. Nobody cares.
Well, that's what I talked about right before, not spoiling. These guys at least got some time to show something. But yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But hey, autopilot Jericho is no different than autopilot Dwayne Johnson, all right? It's the same stuff every time either way, but it works. You
want to know some typical WWE booking? Kind of like the Dean Ambrose thing, where they think they're protecting a guy, but in reality he's... Well, I don't think Dean Ambrose is far gone, but in some cases there's guys like Bray Wyatt that may be far gone.
Roman Reigns is far gone, and he's been protected.
If he turns heel, he's still got a chance. But they're not going to turn heel.
If Dean Ambrose turns heel, he still has a chance.
No, because Dean Ambrose will just get cheered.
I know he would.
Yeah.
They should actually turn Dean against Roman just to see what happens.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, turn your hottest babyface heel. That's gonna work out great. Brock Lesnar took on Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper in a handicap match. Brock destroyed Luke Harper. Bray didn't even tag in, so he's either injured or they're trying to quote-unquote protect him. I don't know how you protect a guy that's lost every big match. It happened last night in Montreal, too. Same thing. Just dumb. Just pin the guy. It's Bray Wyatt.
The way it finished with like a stare down was, it looks like they might be thinking about doing something with those two still down the road.
Oh, boy. Lucky us. Wow. That's going to be a great season.
It was the same match that happened last night in Montreal. It just made no sense. And Luke Harper, man, I feel bad for that guy.
Oh, that's going to be
he has such a look to him, and I did tweet this out. To me, he has like the best look I've seen in a long time, where he could step in for Bray Wyatt, and they wouldn't miss a beat at all.
No, he's awesome. He's awesome in the ring. You can make the argument he should be the guy wrestling The Undertaker at Mania. He's freaking awesome. That's something Jim Ross actually suggested. That you could have had Luke Harper like turn on Bray Wyatt or, kind of become more of a leader in the Wyatt family.
Right.
Would have been awesome. But, yeah, I guess it didn't happen. We had Sami Zayn take on Stardust. Decent match, but it went way too long. Way too... I mean, it's Stardust, dude. Like, really.
Who put on a good show.
But it's Stardust. Nobody cares about Stardust. You know what? Put Neville in the match then. Put somebody from NXT that they'd like. Bring Samoa Joe in for a night. I don't know. Well, they technically did that already, but you know what I mean.
Put Neville on the match.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two faces, but why not? Hell, tease us with Kevin Owens. Do a quick DQ finish. Who cares? Just do something. I
Yeah,
agree with
this was lame.
But you got to have some guys in Atlantic City. Come on, you can't totally screw that crowd.
Yeah, that's true. Just yeah. Oh no. Man, I'm just looking through
It
these
was
results.
a long match.
Yeah, but I'm just looking through these results, and this was actually a really good show. But it would have just been so awesome if Dean won, or if they did what I suggested they did last week, or they should do last week, which was have Dean and Triple H go at it, really close match, have Brock attack Dean, have Roman Reigns attack Triple H and Brock to save him, although apparently Roman's not back yet because of the nose surgery they had. And you could have set up a fatal four-way. And that way, with that fatal four-way, you have the option of doing, a ton of different things. Either Triple H retaining, Roman winning, or, Dean Ambrose winning the title, or even Brock. And I think it would have been really intriguing. And then that way at Extreme Rules and Payback and stuff, you have a bunch of singles matches you can make out of that WrestleMania main event. Like Roman versus Triple H, Ambrose versus Triple H, Ambrose versus Lesnar, Lesnar versus Reigns 2, and so on and so forth. But instead, it was just, it was a great match. Don't get me wrong. It was a great, great match. But I just can't help but think that they're just going to screw over Ambrose. And look, Ambrose might be the type of guy like a Daniel Bryan or CM Punk who gets over in spite of the booking. So they may beat him like a drum these next few months, and he may still get over to the point where they're forced to make him the world champion like they did with Bryan and CM Punk. But I don't know, man. They're really stubborn. I don't see that happening right now. And it's a shame because when he's in the ring, especially in a big match situation like that, he's great. He gets the crowd amped up. He has a connection with the crowd. And he's been booked so dumb, too. He's been booked like an idiot Steve Austin. It's like, imagine Steve Austin being fearless and getting beat up every time. He's like an idiot Steve Austin, and he's still over. That's a testament to his talent and the connection he has with the fans. Yet they do not pull the trigger on him. I don't get it.
They're setting, they're a horse with blinkers on. They see one thing, and that's it.
Yeah. It's like Vince knows his time's limited on this earth, and it's like he picked Roman Reigns as his guy, and damn it, he's going to go to the grave with Roman Reigns.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it seems like. That's the only explanation I can have for them being so damn stubborn.
Dude, I'm with you. They'll learn, I think. Well, I don't know if they will learn. You almost wonder if Triple H walks out of there with the title still. You kind of do. At Mania, could he walk out with the title?
He could. Especially if that's not.
The crowd could dictate a lot of what happens in that match.
Especially
halfway through.
You know what? Especially if he's not the last match. If it's, believe it or not, Shane versus Undertaker as the last match.
That has some interesting potential, which we can get into later on down the road. We have some weeks to talk about that.
Oh man, I'm just worried. I'm just worried that they're gonna put look. They'll be fine for now. They have network subscribers. They got a lot of revenue streams and everything. But I really feel like they need a spark because at some point, those low TV ratings and inconsistent, they are consistently low. But, up and down TV ratings are going to catch up with them in a bad way. And at some point, you want to get your fan base excited again. And not just during WrestleMania time. But, look, if it's Dean, if it's Roman, at the end of the day, it's about how you book these guys, right? Yep. If Roman Reigns is booked like Goldberg or booked like he was 2 years ago, now the guy would be the hottest star in the company and the hottest star in wrestling right now. But when you book guys to be dumb baby faces and you book your mid-carders like geeks, does it really matter who's champion at that point? What's just disturbing is like the only two guys that are really, truly protected right now, who are really, really over right now, if you really think about it, besides Ambrose, but he hasn't been really protected, are Triple H and Shane McMahon in 2016. That's freaking disturbing. Sorry, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because it was a good show, but
moving on.
All right, let's go to, how about this? Let's go to the comments.
Yeah.
Okay. Cairo says, dude, what the hell was the point of that special? It was a placeholder for WrestleMania time, and it was good. Am I the only one who thinks this special made no sense? No, it was fine for what it was. I mean, I
Well, it
guess
was
they
kind of
wanted.
weird to have an extra quote unquote pay-per-view when you're not supposed to. But yeah, I mean, it was what yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I tweeted this out and nobody, not even you, Fred, and I'm disappointed in you for this, commented on it. But back in my day, we used to call that In Your House or Saturday Night's Main Event.
Sorry, I missed that tweet. All right, there was a lot going on.
I mean, that's what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the need to have Triple H look strong when he's looked strong for the better part of almost
Well, Dean looked
16,
strong too,
17.
but
yeah,
well,
but
Triple H also looked lucky because Dean pinned him.
yeah,
and
but you know what?
it
They've
was
done
so
this. They've done
weird.
this. They've done this stuff with Triple H. Quote unquote, making guys look good even when they lose for years, and it never works. It only worked once, also like Jeff Hardy. But then again, Dean Ambrose has been compared to Jeff Hardy in some ways. So, maybe he'll end up getting the title like Jeff Hardy.
We'll see, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Racer says they showed that false finish at the end. They said the tip of Dean's toenail was under the rope. Wow. Okay.
That's about it.
All right.
Triple H should lose the title at SummerSlam against Seth Rollins. That could happen.
Oh, God.
They could set that. They could. I mean, could you
Oh,
really see
God.
Triple H holding the belt that long?
Oh,
But
God. Stop.
they could do
Stop.
that.
Stop.
Dude, come
Stop.
on, man.
All right.
Fred.
Shut up.
What are you going to do, Seth? A heel / really face Seth versus Roman Reigns?
I don't know, but you know what? They
mean-
were dumb enough to bring Alberto Del Rio back as a heel and put him with Zeb Coulter.
Yeah, that worked for 5
They were dumb enough to
minutes.
put Jack Swagger against Chris Jericho in Canada, when Chris Jericho's the heel.
See, now you're just quoting me, so.
Yeah. Reigns should turn heel at WrestleMania. Face man, that'd be interesting, but how would he turn heel? I mean, unless he turns on Shane McMahon or something.
The only way he could turn heel is if he wins the belt, Ambrose comes out to congratulate him, and he just, for no reason, beats the holy hell out of Ambrose. But it really wouldn't make sense. But
Yeah.
that's really the only way you could do it. Just have Ambrose embrace him, and I mean, unless he beats up his own family, which God forbid, he turns on The Rock or something. I mean,
I don't know.
now that they could do, have The Rock cost Roman the title inadvertently, and have Roman just start beating up The Rock.
That would be that would be a pretty hot angle. That would
I
be
don't see
pretty
The
hot.
Rock coming back to avenge it, but yeah.
well,
you
Rock
do that.
could, but at the SummerSlam time, and there's your main event for SummerSlam. That would actually be a hell of an angle.
See, when you don't think about things, they just come out and they make sense.
Yeah, the problem is Rock's also filming a bunch of movies right now, including Baywatch, and if you got injured, even just taking a move that seems relatively, minute like the spear,
But
it's not, it's not. I don't think his studio would be thrilled. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. I don't think they'd be thrilled.
No, I agree. Yeah, but you could do it. I mean, there's ways to do it.
No,
I'm
there are
sure.
ways to do it. Yeah, of course. Randy Orton will win the world title when he returns. Shut up, Manpreet.
I was gonna say, why did you even mention that?
Because he's the biggest Randy Orton fanboy.
Yeah, Manpreet also says RVD teased a return on Twitter. He kind of did. Somebody asked him, and he said something about when the time is right. I mean, Rob Van Dam's 47 years old now. Come on.
Well, he looks great for his age. He'd be
He looks
fi-
great, but he's lost a step in the ring.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while. Treat Yourself says Ambrose should have won. I agree with you there, but he didn't. The only bad match was Bray versus Brock. Terrell Scott, no. There weren't. I don't think there were any real bad matches, but the Stardust and Sami Zayn was pretty dull.
The only thing about Brock is I mean, look, it's great to watch, but and I know it.
Actually, I know what you. I think I know what
It's
he
the
means.
same thing.
Yeah.
Suplex.
Well, that's what people want to see.
Offensive moves by the heel. Suplex.
People
pin,
want to watch that.
F5 pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is kind of the same thing. I mean, it does. I understand that. And Manpreet also says they better not shorten Sami Zayn's name. Can you imagine that?
Oh God,
Zayn versus Neville. Oh my
well,
God.
Well, somebody should probably alert Vince McMahon about One Direction, and then
Exactly.
maybe
Which is why I bought my In Zayn shirt, and I've never worn it, and probably will never wear it.
because
after the
people will
fact
think
that
you're a One Direction fan.
Yes, they will. And I'm scared to death to walk around the mall wearing an In Zayn shirt. and
You
have
know
to,
what?
Get beat up by a bunch of 20-year-old guys thinking I'm a One Direction fan.
Listen, if you walk around with your daughter while wearing it, I don't think it's a problem. You could just say you took her to a concert.
Yeah, and I'll have her wear a Stone Cold shirt. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Bro Baller says, I'm surprised AJ Styles wasn't on the card. He was in Atlantic City wrestling an Iron Man match with Kevin Owens.
Was he really?
Yeah, I honestly would have gone to that show
Iron
tonight.
Man match.
But I was really tired and
So
and I was-
wait a minute. So they
30
beat
minutes.
AJ at a house show in an Iron Man match.
30 minutes, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would have gone, but it was just like I wanted to watch Roadblock, and I was really tired, and I figured I'd do a recap, and I was out most of Friday night and Saturday in the city, so I was like, you know what, we just chill out. Plus, MSG's coming up in a couple weeks, and apparently it's Daniel Bryan Appreciation Night, so I may break my WWE event drought and go to that show. I may.
But first, what you said, you were sitting at home bored, and you had nothing to do, and Roadblock was on. Nobody actually wanted to watch Roadblock.
Hey, I want to know. A lot of people wanted to watch Roadblock. I thought maybe they'd actually do something interesting with Dean, and well, it was interesting, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Right. No, I agree.
Hey, you can have Reigns turn heel by beating the crap out of Ambrose as the main event. What?
Kind of what I played off of, I guess. A little bit.
Bray should have gotten pinned. Well, we don't know if Bray's injured. That's the thing. We don't know if Bray could be injured, which I hope not. That would suck.
He has nothing else to do at Mania season. Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah, actually, what is he going to be doing at Mania?
The Battle Royal, probably getting eliminated by Braun Strowman.
Braun the Strowman is going to win that Battle Royal, and it is going to be glorious. It is going to be glorious.
Well, on the good side, it's named after Andre the Giant, and you've had the Big Show and Braun Strowman, so it kind of does work for that at least. Keeps with a theme.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, they should give it to Mark Henry if it's his last run. Just, last Mania, I should say. Just give it to him.
Or just give it to
The
somebody
poor
that can
guy
actually
suffered
use it.
enough. Put his name on a trophy.
He won a world title. He doesn't need to get anything
The poor guy
else.
suffered enough. Put him in.
Suffer enough.
He
Listen,
won.
he got a world title, okay? That made up for him having sex with Mae Young, all right?
Who would have been her, 93rd birthday today? 94th?
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what a coincidence. God bless Mae Young.
So, there you go.
Okay.
I saw her do a Bronco Buster live in person.
Oh, wow. That must have been a spectacle.
They had to talk my friend, the guy I know who was taking it. Yeah, they had to talk him into it.
Your friend took it?
Yeah. Well, I not a friend, but I knew the guy who took it. At a show, independent show back in like the late 90s. Yeah, they had to kind of talk him into it a little bit. But yeah, he took it, and Moolah gave one as well because it was Moolah and May as a team. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I have a photo somewhere.
Was that his claim to fame in wrestling? Was that like the highlight of his career?
Hey, he's still going to this day a little bit. So.
But was that the highlight of his career?
We can get into that later.
Okay.
I don't want to get too much into an independent scene. Nah, he was in the.
Okay, forget the independence. If the peak of his career was Bronco Buster by Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah, that doesn't compare to some indie show. So there you go. All right, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Fred, have you heard Ryback might get a WWE title shot after WrestleMania? I heard, but it looks like he's going to be in the U.S. title mix. So I don't know if I could see him winning the U.S. title and then challenging for the world title right away. They could do that. I think he'd be a really good heel, but
they don't know what he is.
So many other guys out there right now, and I'm a Ryback fan. I think he's actually improved more than people give him credit for, even though his physique is a little too freaky for my liking.
The tights don't work for him.
But the problem is, the tights.
Well, they do work for him.
They work for him, but it's like his physique is too nice. It's too freaky. It's almost like in like the 80s it would have been fine, but it's just. I don't want to say red flag.
Like Schwarzenegger in his peak,
I don't want to say red flag, but it stands out and not in a good way.
It's a yellow flag.
Yeah. Fred, did you see Mania tickets are being sold $14, while Takeover tickets I think are around $200. Josh and HD, I did see that, but you remember too. There's standing room only seats at WrestleMania as well. Well, Dallas, the stadium in Dallas, or technically Arlington, offers standing only seats as well.
And it's a much bigger venue.
Yeah, so it's gonna be harder to sell X amount of tickets, 83,000 or however many they've sold so far or trying to sell, than it is compared to a 15,000 seat venue.
I'm surprised they've actually gotten up to 83,000 when a couple weeks ago I heard they didn't even break
they officially broke their real record. Like I think they surpassed Wembley Stadium with Bret Hart versus Davey Boy Smith, and they broke the real number of WrestleMania 3, which was like 78,000 and some change. Although I did see some article written saying 93,000 is the real number and blah blah blah.
Well, good and well they're going to announce over 100,000.
Oh no, they're gonna inflate it, but. Just the fact that I still see people to this day arguing about the 93,000. It's like Dave Meltzer did his research. He even interviewed the event promoter, who I believe showed him the actual figures, and it was like 78,000. So
really,
yeah, which I think was the late Zane Bresloff, who did a lot of promoting for WCW as well. But yeah, whatever. Haters gonna hate. It is interesting though. In this past week's edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it talked about how there's some tension between, well, not tension, but there's differences between Triple H and Vince McMahon, because NXT's, while it's a thriving brand right now, it features a lot of guys that Vince wouldn't see money in. Case in point, Tyler Breeze. And it was kind of hinted, at least I read between the lines in the Observer, and it seems like Triple H isn't as interested anymore as, seeing Reigns as a face. Like, he's kind of just going with the flow and doing his thing. Like, okay, they're going to do the match. If Reigns gets booed, he gets booed. And it seems like there's been a rift, maybe a greater rift, since Triple H called up Tyler Breeze. They bring him up. They did this whole thing with the Breaking Ground, where he gets called up to the main roster. They make him look like $1 million on that show. And he goes on the main roster and gets destroyed.
Before Breaking Ground was even over.
Yeah, it's just all. I mean, even Fandango got a freaking push before he got buried. It's just
got a WrestleMania moment.
Bo Dallas even got a push before Tyler Breeze. Man, Tyler Breeze deserves better. That guy works really hard and has busted his ass for so long. And can you imagine if you're Triple H and you spent all those years developing Tyler Breeze and trying to make him into something? And okay, Tyler Breeze had an up and down NXT career, but he really was one of the more popular stars, and he had a lot of really good matches, sometimes great matches.
And he came into his own,
yeah,
too. He really did.
Yeah, and you're Triple H, and you molded this guy, and you call him up, and you're expecting to protect him, and Vince McMahon takes one look at him and says, he's not my guy, and they just beat him like a drum. Quite sad.
Well, that's why,
And you know what? I'm wondering if, since Shane apparently isn't involved, like, backstage, like, in anything, or in the company. But can you imagine if, like, Shane McMahon was brought back in to be kind of like a Vince McMahon type of guy? Like kind of like to be like I don't want to say the buffer, but kind of like bringing in Shane as, like, kind of like part of Vince McMahon's, like, contingent, while you have Stephanie and Triple H, and there's, like, some differences between, like, NXT and stuff in the main roster. It's interesting. I think it's deeper than just Shane McMahon coming back to do a big match.
There's a lot of reality in this.
Yeah.
Really. There really is.
And I don't think it's over yet.
No, I mean, like I said, when Shane's coming out saying Vince is out of touch with the crowd and this and that, there's a lot of truth in those things, And,
yeah.
And it is interesting, It
is, and we'll see what
there's
unfolds.
not many, this isn't the 80s and 90s. It's not a big man sport anymore. And, even I'm an old school guy where, to me, seeing a guy like Neville as your, WWE heavyweight champion would be hard to fathom, but yet it's talent over size.
Yeah, and it's connection with the crowd, and it's connection with the crowd over everything. And again, case in point, Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, guys who are nowhere near as freaking big as a Triple H or a Braun Strowman or who else? BJ Penn back in the day. Yeah, or freaking.
Although Lesnar's different.
Well, Lesnar's different, but you know what I mean? Look, George St. Pierre was one of the biggest draws ever. 170 pounds. Under 6 feet tall.
I believe you said it yourself when McGregor won the title a couple months ago. That division
never drew.
Had no stars. It never drew money.
They never drew money. I mean, look, they had some good ratings and sold some tickets in, like, WEC and at times with, like, Uriah Faber. He was like one of the pioneers of that lower weight class, but I mean, as far as, like, taking it to a level where, it had big draws or anything. I mean, Conor McGregor, this small dude, took a division that never drew in the UFC and made it into something. Made people care. I mean, it's unbelievable. And look, Nate Diaz did his part with this pay-per-view, which is rumored to have done maybe 1.5 million buys, which is phenomenal if they actually got to that figure.
Rumor is McGregor said no to a rematch July 4th.
Technically it's not. Technically it's after July 4th, the weekend. But I know you're talking. It's UFC 200. Yeah, Zeus Tapado, who's a buddy of mine, who's a former editor of Middle Easy, who's very tight with the Diaz brothers, claims that. That's interesting, but McGregor might have his reasons, and also he's the champion, so who knows if it was gonna be a non-title match or a a world title match, or if Nate could get down to 145. I'll have to ask him. I'll see if he clarified on Twitter. But anyway, folks, I think it's time to wrap this bad boy up. I hope you enjoyed this WWE Roadblock recap. It's been a little while since we've been here talking wrestling, so good to be back. And this will be an interesting and will continue to probably be a bumpy road to WrestleMania, but Scott, anything we should look out for as far as wrestling-wise? I know we got Raw and SmackDown, but anything you've been watching lately, maybe on the network or whatever, that people could check out?
I'll be honest, I've checked out the first 2 or 3 episodes of the Edge and Christian show, and it's goofy as all hell, but it's fun. I might find it entertaining, but then again, it doesn't take much to entertain me. I like it. I mean, look, you don't have to think too much into it. It is what it is. They make fun of a lot of things. They make fun of themselves. I mean, it's fine. I would check that out. It's like 22 minutes an episode. It's not bad. Yeah, it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna be the road to WrestleMania is pretty straightforward at this point. You're just going down, what is that, Route 66? There's no twists and turns, unfortunately, but yeah, they got a couple of good cities coming up, so the crowds are going to dictate a lot of things.
Oh yeah, Philadelphia, Brooklyn. It's gonna be very, very interesting. And also too, speaking of the network, you guys should definitely go out of your way to watch some of these older matches at WrestleMania, past WrestleManias if you haven't before. I mean, I watched Diesel Shawn Michaels the other night on the network. Pretty good match. I mean, probably one of the best matches that Kevin Nash ever had. It's cool to go back and just watch. And if you have the Xbox 360 app, sucks for WWE Network. I mean, it's okay, but it's really annoying to go through and forward everything. But if you have like the PS4 app or the Xbox One app, when you're watching the show, if they time coded it, it actually has time codes and thumbnails for where you can skip to different matches, as opposed to 360 where you just have to fast forward. So I've been just going through past WrestleManias, watching some like forgotten classic matches like Triple H versus Owen Hart and Kevin Nash versus Shawn Michaels, and just some cool stuff like that maybe doesn't come off the top of your head for great WrestleMania matches, but stuff that has aged pretty well.
I would say go back, WrestleMania 15, Rock Austin, WrestleMania 17, Rock Hogan, just for the crowd alone.
Well, Rock Austin, WrestleMania 17, Rock Hogan, WrestleMania 18. There's a lot of good stuff.
No, Rock Austin 15. I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. Rock Hogan 18.
How about this? Watch all the Rock Austin matches.
Watch them all.
Yeah.
I was going to say WrestleMania 17, Triple H Undertaker, believe it or not, their first match was a really good match.
It was really good. I don't think it compares to 27 or 28, but it was a really good match.
There's moments, I would say, to go back and watch, but again, like you said, it's hard to thumb to a couple moments.
WrestleMania 10, I think, is an underrated WrestleMania. One of the more underrated WrestleManias. They had the great ladder match. They had the Owen Hart, Bret Hart match. They had the Bret Hart, Yokozuna match. It was pretty good.
You realize WrestleMania 20 was 4.5 hours?
Was it?
Yeah, I was skimming through parts of that because I always like to see when The Undertaker comes back.
Yeah.
And it's like 4:31.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, for what it was, a good triple threat match. The finish, Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle put on a pretty good match as well.
They did too. Christian and Chris Jericho had a really underrated match. Christian actually won.
Yeah, good. Well, he had some help.
Yeah, Trish.
And then he got the payoff at the end. So
yeah, he got to make out with Trish. Nice. But anyway, if you guys want to know more about past WrestleManias, I actually did a bunch of WrestleMania reviews years ago. I have a playlist full of WWE WrestleMania reviews, so check that out. We tweeted them out before. If you want the link, I could just send it to you directly on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and I'll be posting it throughout the week. So if you want to check those out, all 31 of our WrestleMania reviews, please feel free to check those out. Please feel free to subscribe to my gaming channel, youtube.com/tscgaming. We were on hiatus for a little bit, but I just uploaded a game review of an indie game called Screen Sheet, which is awesome. I just got my review codes for Hitman, so I'll be reviewing that. And I'll be giving my thoughts on EA Sports UFC 2, since I've covered MMA and know a little bit about fighting sports games. So, folks, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please also check us out on soundcloud.com/TSC News, as well as iTunes. Until next time, everybody, woo! As always, enjoy the matches.